Welcome back, everybody, to the Cowboy Slot Channel, Sunday Slot Talk with a Tech. We're your hosts, Brantley and Marc, and today we're going to be doing some open Q&A forum, just like every single Sunday. But before we begin, as always, we're going to go over some new things that are happening here at the channel. Welcome to everybody that's joined us so far. We got quite a few of you in here already, including we do have a super chat that came in, $1.99 super chat from Little Buddy Slots. Thank you so much. The super chats are very helpful and greatly appreciated here on this channel. So we do thank you guys very much for those super chats. So a lot of exciting stuff happening here at the channel today. And before we go into our Q&A, we're going to talk about it. So there are two main things that we're bringing here to the channel. The first being is we want to improve your overall viewer experience. That is one thing that we are really trying hard to focus on. Obviously, since the channel is still very new, we have a lot of room to grow, but we're coming out with two new things that are going to be very exciting and very beneficial to you. If you remember, not too long ago, we ran a poll on the YouTube community page about what videos you wanted to see. And the two biggest videos that you guys wanted are live slot play and those educational videos. So we're excited to announce that we are bringing something new to the channel coming later on this fall. We're bringing something with dual camera picture-in-picture to the future videos. This way, with future videos, you'll be able to not only see the slot machine while it is being played, but you'll also be able to see myself, and I'll be able to better interact with you and talk to you as we go along, to help explain the machines and go over all of those exciting features and facts about the machine while they're being played. So coming later this fall, you can expect picture-in-picture to come to the Cowboy Slot Channel. The second thing that we're focusing on, and this is a big one, it's something that a lot of slot channels struggle with. And it's also something that you guys have voiced concerns over in the past, and it can be quite annoying when you're watching videos. And that, of course, is glare. Glare on the slot machines. When you're filming in a casino, obviously, there's a lot of times where we've got the camera on the slot machine and you can see light glare, or something looks washed out, or the colors aren't right, or there's a lot going on, and it just interrupts your experience. So I'm pleased to say that starting again this fall, in a couple weeks, the next video is coming out, we're introducing UV blocking and anti-glare lenses. So those lenses are going to be added to the cameras to help reduce the glare on slot machines and improve your overall viewer experience. So those are two great things that are coming to the channel, guys. I hope you really enjoy them. We are completely revamping and upping our production value here. So videos are going to be crisper, clearer, both in photos, audio, video, everything. So we hope you guys enjoy that, and you can look forward to all of that later this fall. Also, guys, poker chips are still available for sale. If you are interested in these poker chips, they are available on the website at ropethejackpot.com. I'll put that banner up there for you. A lot of cool poker chip options. We are running low on supplies of those poker chips, and as always, the poker chip sales do go to help benefit the channel. So thank you guys very much in advance for that. Also, Member Mondays are something that's completely new here on this channel. If you are a member of the channel, you can actually join in a private members-only live stream on Mondays. If you're not yet a member and would like to join, there is a link in the description of this video for you to join. And as always, it's completely optional. So those are really kind of the only opening things that we wanted to talk about here. Some exciting channel changes coming. We've got the anti-glare lenses, so there's going to be no glare on the slot machines. It's going to reduce that a lot. And then also we have dual camera coming to the channel, so there will be not just one camera but two, and you'll be able to get that more immersive experience when watching those videos. So I hope you guys enjoy that. Those are coming later this fall. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into some question and answers today. Our moderators today, we have Tammy and Gamble the Globe. So guys, thank you so much for doing that. And we also have a lot of members here, guys. Welcome, and thank you to all of our members that are a part of the channel. So we're going to burn through some questions here. We already got over 100 people. If this is your first time on our live stream, we do get very busy on our live streams, but we offer 3 live streams a week. We have our Sunday show, the one that you're watching now. We also have our Wednesday night late night show, as well as that members only Monday. So if we do miss your question, please come and join us on either of those live streams. So let's see. Let's see some questions here. We'll start off with Don. Don, thank you very much for your question. Thank you for being here. What is your overall opinion on video poker? Video poker is a pretty popular game, and actually it is one of the best games to play in terms of payback percentages and returns to player and all of that. It's a very good game to play. That's kind of my overall opinion on it. We do have a video that is entirely on video poker in the library that you can check out. Really, really awesome video with some experts in video poker, and they say a lot of things about the game that are pretty interesting and pretty cool. So be sure to check out that video. It's in the library. Thank you for your question, Don. We have Cheryl. Do you tip a casino host? I always do, but there seems to be no clear answer. Really, for that, it depends on the casino. It depends on the casino's policy. Some casinos, their hosts accept tips. Some casinos, they don't. Always just tip what you're comfortable with if you decide to tip. All right, Mark, do you want to pull any questions?
Sure. Let's see. Sharon has a question here. When you use your own money to get to a bonus, does a casino give you points for those free bonus spins? So the actual points that you get generated for comps or player tracking or anything like that are based on your bet, not the result of the spin or anything like that. So if you bet 3 credits, whatever their math is that they're using is what you'll get equivalent to those 3 credits bet. If you bet 20 credits, you multiply that by the number of points you get per credit. But the actual result of the game spin or anything doesn't have any impact on what your what your offers are, or what your tier credit status, that kind of stuff. It's all about wagered amounts. Good question.
Awesome. Good question. I got a question here from Linda. Do Class 2 slot machines always display a small bingo card on them? The answer is no. Most of the time they will, but there are some machines out there that are Class 2 that do not show the bingo card. In a Class 2 facility or in a facility with mixed slots, because there are some casinos out there that have both Class 2 and 3, you can always ask the floor employees and they'll tell you if the machine is Class 2 or Class 3. And Riley asks, how volatile is Gold Bar 7's 27 lines with blackout pays at top bet? That's a lot of lines. I don't know. Do you have an opinion on that, Mark?
I don't know anything about that one, so I couldn't say for sure.
Yeah,
about the volatility of it.
So I probably safe bet would be to say middle of the road on that one.
Yeah.
So thank you for your question, Riley. We appreciate it. Muzz New York. Hey, Cowboy. Hey, everyone. Great Sunday. I'm fairly newbie. My second live stream. Welcome. We really love having you guys here. We're always looking to improve and always bringing new things. And so we really appreciate each and every one of you being here all the time. And Cigars Whiskey says, yay, the people in the reflection is distracting. Yes. So if you're just now joining us, just to recap, we are introducing brand new anti-reflective and anti-glare lenses during our live play recording. So we will be able to get rid of all that glare on the screen of the slot machines to make for an even better experience. GB Commander Fox, why does it sometimes seem that there is a delay when you hit the max bet button before the actual real spin, where it seems like the machine is thinking for a while? That's a good question. A lot of older machines do that. There's nothing really behind it. A lot of
they're
the technology,
slow. Yeah, they're just slow machines. If you think about computers that you were using in the mid 90s, those are the types of speeds that are in these older style slot machines. And so I know exactly what you're talking about, especially on these two. Every now and then you hit the bet max button and it sits there for a couple seconds and then it registers and spins. It's just the processor's slow. It's just trying to get caught up. So yeah, they don't have the latest and greatest in those for sure.
Very good. Yeah. And Ken asks, hey, great channel. How often does a machine have to balance? They balance over the course of their life. So it's millions and millions of spins. Mark, did you want to add anything to that?
No, if you're curious, if you really want a detailed answer, I do have a video on my channel, Home Slots, where I talk about how it does do that over time. I think it's called Are Slot Machines Really Random? The answer might surprise you.
It's a good video.
Look for that.
Yeah. Definitely.
So that'll definitely go in. I think after you watch that video, you'll understand how it balances out over time.
Correct.
Hopefully.
And question from Rocket Man, and then after this, Mark, you can pull some questions if you'd like. Okay. If I win a jackpot and I'm not a U.S. citizen, who do I pay taxes to? That's a very good question. The casinos that I worked at, we had a lot of people visiting from out of country. And what our casino does, and I think it's general casino practice, is if you're not a United States citizen, we will actually take the taxes out for you, and we actually withhold a higher amount. And it's not optional. So usually for international players, they will take all of the taxes out in advance before that. So if you want to go ahead, Mark.
And to follow up on that, I believe, now again, we're not tax experts, but look into this. I believe that you can actually apply to get some of that back. But look into your country laws and rules. The only reason I say that is because I've noticed signs in the Las Vegas airport that says, Canadian citizen, want all of your jackpot money, contact us here to get the appropriate forms and all that. So I think there's some stuff that you can do to get some of that money back, but that's on your own to go look it up. We're not tax experts here, so we don't want to jump into that. So New Start 2020 says, stop play to print receipt and reload the receipt again to continue to play. Does it make a difference? No, makes absolutely no difference. Again, the machine has no understanding of how much credits are in the machine, how you put the credits in, bills, free play, tickets. Each individual spin is all it really cares about. So cycling your bankroll or anything like that, it may make you feel better or maybe slow your play down a little bit, but it doesn't actually make a difference in the programming or the outcome of the spin. And I'll take another one here. So Panda Maniac says, I was at a casino yesterday and the machine froze mid-spin and said progressive error. After about 5 seconds, the error message disappeared and the spin continues. What does that mean? So this actually happens on mine. I have some progressive games here as well. And basically the CPU in the machine has to constantly be in communication with the progressive controller. It's a separate box that maintains the actual progressive amount as it's growing. If there's ever any kind of delay in getting a response back, it's through a network. So it's just like, sometimes at home, your internet may be slow for a second, but then you refresh and it's fine. It's the same kind of thing. If it loses connection with it, it's going to keep trying and it may end up timing out. And if it does, you're going to get some kind of message on the screen that it can't find it. And basically what it's doing is just halting the play until it establishes that connection again. And then when it does, the play will resume just like it normally would if it didn't lose connection. So there's nothing to worry about. It's not like changing the odds or, reducing the progressive chances or anything like that. It just has to stay in communication with that because, as you know, whenever you do a spin, it has to count up on the progressive and it just needs to be aware of that. So
if you want to take one more, Mark.
Sure.
And I'll grab another one.
So Amish Gamer says, my friend recently got a $2,500 win on an 80-cent bet at Yamava. That's a great return there. He had his player's card inside the machine. I heard he will not get a big win again for a while if his card is inside. No, that's not true. We've said this so many times, but the player card system does not impact the gameplay of any slot machine. All it does is record data such as amount wagered, amount won, allow you to convert free play into credits on the machine, those types of things. But your player's card cannot be used to determine the outcome of the spin at all. So don't ever worry about that. Keep your player's card in and play. You don't want to lose out on those comps.
Exactly. And also, guys, I just want to add one thing here. If you are new to our channel, because we have a lot of new people joining us today, we have a lot of those commonly asked questions that are already covered in other videos. So if you are new to the channel, if you guys do have questions about, are odds changed remotely? Is there a better time to play? Does stopping the reels early? Anything like that? All of those topics are covered in previous videos, and those are all available in the library. So go be sure to check those out, and don't forget to subscribe because we're always coming out with new videos each and every day. Let's see here. Let me find one.
I'll put one up real quick.
Go ahead, Mark.
So Connie Burton says, do you always play the max for whatever denomination you choose? No, not always. The only time that you really should play max is if there's some kind of big benefit of doing so. Maybe you're eligible for the progressive, or maybe the top prize amount is multiplied way more than it would be without betting max. But there's no rule that says that you should always play max bet. There has to be some benefit to it.
Exactly. Especially with the higher denomination machines. I know I've covered this before. If you're going to play like a 25, 50 or $100 slot machine, there's really not a reason to play max, because even on single credit bet, you're going to get something good. Unless, of course, it's a game like if it has a bonus or anything like that, or multiple lines, something like that, then yeah, you would want to play max. But especially with those higher limit machines, there's not a real a reason to do that, especially with those higher denomination machines.
Right.
Let's see. And Rick James has a not a question, but a good comment, and this is a really good one. More lines, it does equal more chances to win, but more volatility. So that is a very good, valid comment on that. And Cheryl has a question. Can you split a hand pay between a check and cash, or do you need to do one or the other? You can split it. But again, it is individual casinos policy. So each casino might be different. But typically speaking, majority of the casinos, yes, you can split it. And especially on those bigger jackpots, it's very helpful to split those. And Gamble the Globe is again reminding everybody that if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe. It helps us out a lot. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and don't forget to check out all of those videos in the video library for all of those commonly asked questions. Let's see here. Rocket Man, there is a game that you recommend playing to gain points without losing a lot of money. Honestly, I did a video on this. One of the really fun games, it's actually a penny machine, believe it or not. But the design of that game, I think it's an older video, and it's called like the best penny machine to play. But that game, you can put $100 in and you can sit there for hours and hours and hours and just keep going on it. It's a double diamond free games version. So that's one. And Shelly says, thanks for the great infos. You are very welcome. We do really do appreciate having you here. And Roger asks, does it matter whose player's card is in the machine if you win a hand pay? Again, it is casino preference. Some casinos get really picky on that. Some casinos don't. Typically speaking, you always want to play with, your player's card, especially if you've won jackpots a lot of times at that casino, because with the player's card in, if you hit a jackpot, it'll tend to auto generate the information for your W2G. So if it's somebody else's card, it can kind of create some issues there. So you want to make sure to use your own card. And Francis is here. Welcome, Francis. Thank you so much for being here. Happy Sunday. I have a question, please. I've noticed slot attendants save machines for hours for customers. I've noticed they never show up. It stops others from playing. It can be frustrating. Yes. So some casinos do this practice where, especially those higher tier customers, so like if you're MGM Noir or if you're Caesars 7 stars, you do have the option to have a machine held for you. Now, typically speaking, there's a limit on how long they can hold it. But it happens a lot in Las Vegas. I know a lot of, I've seen it at Bellagio. There's one machine at Bellagio that everybody loves to play. And a lot of times some high limit player will reserve it. But yes, it can be very frustrating. So I agree with you there. This might be a good question for you, Mark. From Laurel, in a multi-game machine, is the RNG based per game or the machine?
So there's two separate things. The RNG is not game specific. This is a random number generator that is built into the machine programming that is just constantly cycling. It doesn't care what game is being played, what denomination, nothing like that. So the RNG is completely separate from that. But what you're probably talking about is the game table and the game percentage. Those can be set per game if it's a multi-game machine. So each game on the machine, like this G23 I have behind me, has about 10 games on it. And for each of those 10 games, I can set different payback percentages, different denominations, and all that kind of stuff. But the RNG is always constant and the same, regardless of what. I'm not actively playing this right now, but that RNG is still going until somebody hits that button, and then it decides your fate, as it were, at that point. So,
exactly.
Yeah. Good question, though.
Let's see. Cigar Whiskey, thanks for your commentary during your play. Best on YouTube. It's informative, and you tell us or show us the amounts as they are hard to see. You are very welcome, and we are bringing a big improvement to that. I know we have a lot more new people just joining us. So just to kind of recap, one of the major things, big changes that is coming to this channel is we are introducing dual camera picture-in-picture. So when you guys are watching live play, you'll be able to see the slot machine, and you'll also be able to see myself, and I can give you guys commentary directly. And there's more things we're doing to add more information to the screen and make it more educational during live play episodes. So I'm glad you enjoy that, and it's going to get a lot better. Gear Me Out says, should I use my player's card for slots? Absolutely, you should. Absolutely, you should. Lots of reasonings for that. And we have a video that covers a lot of those in the library as well. Shelly's Yorkies and Slots has a follow-up. What game is that at Bellagio? So one of the questions that we just answered was about people holding slot machines. And there's one slot machine at Bellagio that always gets held because all the high-limit players love it so much. It is on the main floor, just outside of the high limit room. They have moved the machines around a little bit in the past couple weeks or month or so. So if you haven't been there in a while, it might be in a different place. But it is a $10 3-credit triple diamond slot machine. And that one slot machine gets held all the time. All the time. Let's see. Adam Nash. Hey, Cowboy, when gaming companies create slot machines, are there machines that are just created to benefit the player more than the casino? Not all slots are created equally. So you are correct. Not all slots are created equally. A lot of games have drastic different variations. So you could have a 25-cent double diamond machine and then a 25-cent, Dragon Link machine. And even though they're both 25 cents, the volatility of them is so incredibly crazy, and one is definitely going to benefit you a lot more than the other one. As for our games created to benefit the player, I would say yes, Ainsworth is doing a lot of that with the Must Hit by Progressives. Those are really good games. We've played them here on this channel, and those have a huge benefit to you guys. If you know what to watch for and you know what to look for on those games, they are the Ainsworth Must Hit by Progressives. And those are a huge benefit to you. So yes, there are machines out there that are built to benefit the player. Absolutely. Mark, you want to take one?
Actually, one from Adam earlier.
Okay.
Do casinos need to change each machine for the odds of winning, or do they do it remotely? If all machines are the same, can each have different odds, or are they required to have the same odds? So I'll take several parts of this question here, but the first question is, do they need to change the odds? Most casinos do not need to change the odds at any time. They set it and then they leave it there because they don't need to. They're going to make money off of that machine in the long run without having to adjust the odds. And even considering that, you got to imagine, like, because it takes millions of spins for a machine to balance out, if you did go in at some point and change the odds in your favor or not your favor, it would still take a very long time before any individual person would realize that change. And so they don't really need to do that. It's just, it's wasted effort, in my opinion, to go about doing that. Can they do it remotely? They can start it remotely, but somebody still has to physically be at the machine to accept the change of the payback percentage. And they absolutely cannot do it if there are active credits in the machine. So it's very important that you understand that if you're actively playing a game, they cannot do anything to alter the outcome of the spins or anything like that while you have credits in the machine. It can't happen. And that's not because of a casino policy. That's how the manufacturers built these things.
Exactly.
If I went in and tried to change where there's credits in this machine, it's all grayed out and blacked out and says no changes allowed while credits are active in the machine. I can't do it. And that's true for all casinos. They can't do it while you're playing. As for the second part of your question, no, it's not required to have the same odds. But Brantley, I think you've mentioned before, especially when you set up in the casino you worked at, you typically have a certain denomination, and they kind of set all the denomination to the same percentage casino wide, regardless of the game. Is that still
exactly? So I'll kind of add to that. So guys, there are so typically speaking, in almost every single casino setting, obviously the denomination is set based off, or the odds are set based off of the denomination. So all 25-cent machines are going to have roughly the same odds. However, the only variable to that is going to be different machines have different levels of volatility, and that volatility will reflect in that percentage. So for example, if I have a 12 times pay machine and a double diamond machine, the double diamond machine might let me set it to 99.8%, but the 12 times machine, the highest it can possibly go is like 96%. So there is a differential between that, just based on the volatility of those games. Is because of that, volatility does play a major part in those machines. And guys, also, speaking of volatility, it is a term used by the casinos. It is a term used by the manufacturers. You can go to any casino. You can talk to any slot manager, any slot director, technicians. You can talk to the manufacturers directly. It is a metric that they use, and it is a term that they use for slot machines. So with that, different slot machines have different levels of volatility. It's a very interesting topic. There's a lot of videos out there. If you search for slot machine volatility, you're going to find hundreds of articles written by tons of other experts, not just here on this channel, but tons of other experts. American Casino Guide has talked about it. Manufacturers have talked about it. Ainsworth has talked about it. It's everywhere, guys. So different machines will have varying percentages based on their volatility, but it will roughly be about the same. So I hope that answers your question on that.
I did want to piggyback just a little bit.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. So just to piggyback a little bit, because we do talk about volatility a lot, and you got to remember that it's all risk reward. It's all about low volatility, meaning frequent wins but smaller wins, and high volatility means infrequent wins but potential to get really high wins. And so a lot of mistakes that people make is they walk into a casino, they sit down at a high volatile machine, and they play it for a while, and they're like, man, this casino really sucks. Like, they must have these odds like set really low. No, the odds are actually set the same on that machine as a similar machine, let's say a double diamond that's very low in volatility, in the same denomination. They're set exactly the same. It's all about how that return gets paid to you over time.
Exactly.
A double diamond machine is very slow and steady. It just kind of gives you wins and keeps you playing. The question we had earlier about how do you extend your bankroll, play a low volatility machine. You'll make it last a lot longer.
Right.
High volatile machines, you have potential of getting really crazy high big wins, but it takes a lot to get them sometimes. And so it has nothing to do with the payback percentage, and the machine or the casino is screwing you by, setting those machines really low. It's set the same, but the volatility is what you notice as an individual player. And that is so important. We talk about it so much on here. I don't think we've gone through a single live stream without volatility coming up,
right,
because it is something that you can do as a player to have some control over what type of wins and risk you want to take on a slot machine. You don't get that with anything else. So it's very important that you learn what that term means, and then you walk in and you look for those machines that aren't high in volatility unless you have the bankroll to back it up and you're a risky person.
Yep,
That's when you should go do that. So just keep that in mind.
And $10 super sticker from Francis. Francis, thank you so much. We really greatly appreciate it. We're doing good on questions here, guys. We're trying to get through as many questions as possible. And as a reminder, if we do miss your question, you can catch us on Wednesday nights, or if you're a member of the channel, member Mondays, which is great. And if you're not yet a member, there is a link in the video description of this video if you are interested. And again, it's totally optional. So thank you for that, Francis. We really do appreciate it. Linda K, how are you doing on this Sunday? Linda, I hope you're doing well. You have a question. So how long should the slots be reserved for high rollers? Again, it's every casino's preference. So some casinos might reserve it longer than others. And that is one of those things too, that it depends on the player. If somebody calls in and they say, hey, I'm going to come into your casino, I want these machines saved. And if they're flying in on a private jet, and if they're a multimillionaire, the casino might hold it all day long. But if it's just, somebody random, and they're like, hey, I want to bring $100 in and play this machine, they probably won't hold it for very long. So it really depends on the casino, and it depends on the player. Another question here. Looking forward to meeting you guys on October 12th at MGM Grand. We will be there. Also, guys, real quick, you can check out the website at ropethejackpot.com for upcoming events. And if you are going to be in the Las Vegas area, keep an eye on that page, because we have a lot of fun and exciting stuff coming up, and it's always a good time. We love seeing you guys, and anytime we're playing in the casino or anything, you're more than welcome to come up to us, talk to us. We absolutely love talking to you guys. And there's never a charge for any of that, of course. Let's see. Bullion Bear, member of the channel. Welcome, Bullion Bear. I've heard players say that it seems when they hit a bonus feature, certain symbols don't show it as often as they did prior to the bonus. I don't see how any RNG could be set to adjust that. Is that true? No, the RNG does not adjust itself for that. Typically, in situations like that, it's merely coincidental. Mark, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, that's kind of a difficult question. I've seen instances where what is the name of that game? The super free times pay, the 2, 3, 4, 5 times pay, where you enter into a bonus round and it seems like the red 7 always shows up on the first reel in the first line, which greatly reduces the chances of you getting a win on that free spin. But I think it's important to realize that, free spins are not predetermined on most games. They play out just like a normal spin would. You just seem to notice it more often because you're sitting back there and like, boy, this free spin bonus sucks. It's like, yeah, but most of your spins suck. It's like, even before a bonus round, a lot of them are losers. And so I think it's just about what you notice. But I don't think the RNG changes anything unless the game is one of those where they remove certain symbols during the bonus round, or some of those Ainsworth games, the bonus actually reduces the pays of those symbols, and you can find that in the game rules. So it's, again, back to what we always talk about: read those game rules so you know what you're getting into, because they can do that. They can adjust the gameplay on a bonus round. They can certainly do that. And sometimes it's not in your favor, so you really should look it up and see. Some of those Ainsworth games, the bonus symbols stay the same payout, but some don't. So you got to go and look at those. So anyway, exactly. I won't ramble too much about it, but it's tricky sometimes.
So we do have a good question here from Shayna, and this is actually a topic, might be a little longer of an answer, but I noticed there's some banter going back and forth, and I want to elaborate on this because it sounds like a crazy myth, but there's actually some truth to it, and this is interesting. Do floor attendants know when a slot is about to hit a jackpot? I have seen some linger for linger around certain machines, like they were waiting for something. So the short answer to this is no. The employees do not know when it's going to hit a jackpot. However, the caveat to that is, when you work in a casino and you're around these machines 24/7, all days of the week, and so on and so forth, you realize that some of these machines, a lot of these machines pay out more frequently. So like when I worked in the casino, almost every single day, we knew that the 88 Fortunes machine was going to pay out almost every single day because it was popular. People were playing it. People go crazy for it. So a lot of the times that there would be an attendant waiting around because we knew, hey, it was going to pay. Like, it's not that, the machine is not scheduled or anything like that. It's just how that machine is. And you get to learn all of these machines and you get to know them. Typically, employees will start to linger, especially around high limit areas. If somebody is playing an extremely high amount, they're going to get a jackpot. If you're playing $25, $50, $100 a spin, even the smallest line hit can be taxable. So a lot of the times, if we see somebody that's playing a machine and they have it set on the highest denomination and they're playing $100 a spin and they're clicking through it, well, we know for a fact that they're going to hit something because it's just, basic math with that. But no, there are some machines out there. There are some machines out there that are just known for hitting frequently. And you'll see employees kind of lingering around like, oh, I wonder if it's going to hit today or something like that. It's not that they know for sure. It's not that they have any control over it. It's not that they're on a schedule. And guys, that's another thing too. When I worked for the casinos, I worked all kinds of shifts. I worked mornings, afternoons, evenings, graveyards, all of that. There's no gambler that is always constantly in a casino every single day during all shifts to know and see this. But yes, jackpots happen at all times. So if you're there at, 6 p.m. on a Tuesday or whatever, and you see that there's all these jackpots going off, well, for all you know, that could happen at 3 a.m. on a Saturday. You never know because you're not there. But yes, it does happen all the time. Mark, I'll let you grab one.
Oh, okay.
If you can pull some up. Oh, we do have a super sticker here from Rocket Man. Rocket Man, thank you so much for that super sticker. Super stickers, super chats do greatly help the channel out. We really do appreciate it. Here's one from Rocky. Why are there so many hand pays set at 1,200 when we have to pay taxes at that point? Why are jackpots not set at 1,150? So again, everything is taxable at it's 11.99 or greater is the taxable limit. So anything greater than 11.99, so they have it set to 1,200. That's just how. Unfortunately, that's IRS stuff. That's nothing the casino can do. It's IRS stuff. So let's see. Here's one from Roger. Are you guys willing to share your statuses? Statuses is in like the casino, like our Players Club statuses, or which
I think
one?
That's probably what he means.
Yeah. So for Players Club status, I'm relatively. So I was 7-star with Caesars for the longest time, but I have stopped going to Caesars. I do not like Caesars. I have given it up, and I am switching over to MGM. And I'm almost to platinum with MGM.
That's good.
That's me. But
lowest
also,
tier.
Yeah. Also,
I think I get free parking, and that's about it.
Right. With me, guys, you know where I live, I'm not close to any casinos. My closest casino is obviously in Lander at Shoshone Rose. That's my closest, but it's still 2 hours away. So I don't get out there every single day. And I don't get to Vegas as often as I used to. So my status is not what it used to be. But I hope that answers your question. I hope that's what you were asking for. Let's see here. Mark, if you got any you want to pull up, You're more than welcome to.
Sure. I just found this one came in. Hey, Bonus Time Slots. Good to see you. Frequent visitor here. He has a channel as well, so check him out. I saw a new pinball game Friday. Has extra shots available at the 10 credit bet. Yeah, that is the new Diamond RS. Pinball. I'm excited to see that one in person. I've seen some YouTube videos of it already. That one looks extremely volatile based on what I've seen.
I don't like it.
I've watched very difficult to get the bonus.
I've watched videos on it. I personally don't. I love pinball. Don't get me wrong. Pinball is my all-time favorite game. That version of pinball, I am extremely skeptical of. Yeah,
I'll have to see it play out and see. Unfortunately, I think all the ones that they've put out are all super high denomination too. So it's like, $50 minimum bet. It's horrible. Like they need to share the love with these lobies here. Get some 25-cent bets going on here.
Exactly. Go ahead.
Amish Gamer has another one. I'm always seeing channels do huge bets like $20, $50 a spin, get a bonus, and only get about $400. Then I see a $2 or $3 bet videos that get a bonus. Then win can be $1,000 or higher. Is this normal? It's perfectly normal. Like,
depends on the game too.
Yeah. If it's the same, I'm assuming you mean the same game, just betting different amounts. I think you're probably describing a very volatile game based on what you said. And remember, volatility, like super high volatility, does not guarantee that you will get a big win. I'm saying the potential to get a big win is there, where on the lower volatility ones, you don't have as great a potential. So there's plenty of times, like one of the really high volatile games is Mega Vault. And I've played that one on here. Really hard to get the bonus. I mean, I've sit there and played it for 30 minutes and not gotten the bonus. And then I finally get the bonus and I get my credit win back, and that's it. I don't get anything. But the potential to get a really large payback on that is there that you don't have on the lower volatility slots. And so, that's the risk you take. Just because you spent 30 minutes, putting a ton of money into a machine, chasing that bonus, and you finally get the bonus does not mean suddenly you're going to hit a crazy amount. It could still screw you. You could still get some really low amounts, So yeah, that's perfectly normal. And that's what high volatile machines is. Just the range of hits is just way larger than you would have with the low, like double diamond, where it's just consistent. And so that's why we always push people to this, because this is too scary unless you have a really big bankroll. You just want to stay away from that.
Exactly.
So yeah, perfectly normal.
Mikey likes it. Question from him for Class 2 slots: wouldn't the chances be better in the less crowded the casino is? So there are theories behind this, and I have worked in a Class 2 facility myself. It was one of the first casinos that I ever worked in. And to answer your question, Yes, to some degree. It's not anything major and noticeable, but you would have slightly better chances if the casino was less busy, because again, you are playing with everybody else on the floor. It's not you versus the machine, it's you versus everybody else in a class 2 facility. And Al Rose says, hi, I see slot channels playing 1 cent denoms. If 2 cent is better, why do they stick with 1 cent? So the difference between 1 cent, 2 cent, 5 cent is so minuscule and small. It's not really anything that is a huge difference in terms of payback percentages and stuff like that. The 2 cent might be a little bit better, but in a lot of casino settings, typically, if it's only a difference of a penny, like a 1 cent, 2 cent, 3 cent, 5 cent, a lot of times the casino will lump it together and just put it as 1% almost. Very rarely do casinos like set it out. The only time there's like major jumps is between like a penny and $1, or $1 and $5, or $5 and $25. Like there are little adjustments in there, but they're not enough to really notice a difference on. Let's see here.
I got one. Rick James, how you doing? Do jurisdiction chips limit the win percentages available when in the setup menu? I know it affects things like hand pay limits. It really depends on the machine. On the IGT side, jurisdiction does control what the lower amount is, just based on where the machine was. But the actual game percentages that are available are set on the game chip itself. That's what holds which percentages are available, and each game chip is not the same. I know, Brantley, you've been looking for some game chips that have some higher percentages on yours. So those unfortunately are all over the place, because back then, if you remember back in the IGT S2000 days, whenever the casinos ordered these, they got to specify what payback percentages they wanted to be able to set those machines to. And so what the manufacturers would do is burn the chip custom to them. And so what happens is that you buy these machines after market, and you have no idea what you're going to get when you get it in. This double top dollar behind me has one setting at 93%, and that's it. I can't even change it. So it just depends on where it comes from, So yeah, the jurisdiction chips, if they have them, S2000s don't really have jurisdiction chips, but some of the later games, like these BB2s over here, I know I'm speaking geek, but Rick James is our geek guy, so I'm just trying to answer his question. But yeah, it can limit what the lower tier is, and sometimes a higher tier, but that's pretty rare.
Exactly. Do have a question here. JFO Nation, can Class 2 machines use a random number generator and not be bingo based? The answer to that is no. Class 2 is defined as a game that is based off of the game of bingo or bingo. So it must be bingo based for it to be Class 2. Now, a casino can have both Class 2 and Class 3 machines, but the Class 2 machines have to be bingo based. They cannot be RNG based. Let's see. Go ahead.
Just a quick one. Tend to win more often if I put in a large amount of money in the machine. Just a coincidence.
Absolutely.
Machines do not know how much they hold the credits, but they don't make that determine your spin outcome or anything like that.
So. Exactly. I got one here. Spin to win. Pinball question. So I love pinball. That's my game. If you watch this channel, I play a lot of pinball. Would you recommend playing $1 pinball or $5? I feel like it's only worth playing 5 to 10. You are absolutely correct on that. So pinball is a fun game no matter what, guys. I would have fun playing pinball if it was a 25-cent machine. But what I have noticed is the $10 denomination pinball slot is really kind of the sweet spot. And the reason why I say that is because if you get pinball, if you're playing $10 denom, you have a really good chance of walking away with some kind of a jackpot or close to a jackpot. $5 pinball, you can do it. It's a lot harder. You have to get a lot higher of a pinball bonus in order to do that. But that $10 denom of pinball is kind of my personal minimum of where I like to stick to. Now, everybody's budget might be different, but also pinball is a great game to work your way up. You can start with $1, then move to 5, then move to 10. But at the $10 denomination pinball, that's when you will start noticing jackpots and hand pays. So for those of you out there that are interested in playing pinball and you're interested in getting a jackpot either for the first time, the $10 denomination pinball with the 3 credits that will tend to trigger a jackpot the most, and then anything obviously higher than that. Let's see. And then, yes, Gamble the Globe. Sorry, Mark.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Gamble the Globe mentions, again, yes, you want to play within your budget and play what you are comfortable playing, of course. This is just my personal opinion, what I would recommend. So that's why, because you asked what I would recommend, so this is what I would recommend. But play within your budget always. All right, Mark, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Kimmer says, hey, Mark, any idea if the casinos in Atlantic City have the fine line top dollar? I don't know for sure. I have heard NJ say that there is a 5-line top dollar where he usually plays. I think the Golden Nugget. He never plays it, though. So go find him and tell him to go play that machine. I think that they have one, the Caesars. Or not Caesars, but Golden Nugget does. So yeah, but I don't know for sure.
We got a comment here from John. I just started gambling regularly this year. I always do a ton of research on only topics that I'm interested in. By far, your guys' channel has helped the most in giving free info and helpful info. Thanks, guys. You are very welcome. Be sure to help us out too, guys. Share your favorite videos. Help spread the word. We do a lot on this channel. It's always free, and we are always looking to improve and make things better for you guys. I have a lot of new exciting stuff coming up. I will say this, and Mark and I have talked about it, so Mark knows, but the end of this year is going to be a very busy year for this channel. We are coming out with a ton of new stuff with higher production value and better it's going to have a much further reach. So you guys are really going to love it. So make sure, if you haven't yet subscribe to the channel and hit that bell, because you're going to love all the new stuff we're coming out with for sure. Really quick, David. Sorry. No, you're fine.
I think we picked the exact same one.
Yeah, we probably
point that to you anyway. So
we picked the exact same one. David says, "Do you have any tips for us out in AZ?" Yes, 2 words: Casino Arizona. That is going to be out of all of this area of Central Arizona. Casino Arizona is going to have the best selection when it comes to new and old machines. I have done extremely well at Casino Arizona. And actually, this kind of goes back to saying, the people out there that say, oh, tribal casinos aren't good. No, tribal casinos are actually very good. And Casino Arizona is a shining example of that. So I would recommend Casino Arizona. Go ahead, Mark.
Okay. Bonus time slots. Do you recall an old bar crest called Hit the Top? I do. I have a friend that actually has one. It's not currently functional, but they did not make that one in the S2000. It was only in the old S Plus. But yeah, you basically, just to kind of describe how the play out works. So you just have a basic game like double diamond or whatever. But if you get to hit the top bonus symbol on a line hit, it can multiply it up to 10 times. And this guy kind of slammed down on a little thing, and the little, hammer goes up, and whatever it lands on is the multiplier you get. So it's kind of a fun little game.
Exactly.
Barcrest made some fantastic machines. I love Barcrest.
Wonderful.
It's just
wonderful.
Crazy.
Games.
Crazy.
They made some crappy ones too, but
yes,
mostly,
yeah, you're right.
Mostly cash game.
King cash. Yeah.
Really quick from Riley Knight. What kind of bankroll should I start with if I want to play $5 slots? We have a whole video on this. It was a recent video too. About managing your bankroll, and it's a really good. Always stick with a 1% rule. So if you want to play those $5 slots, I would stick with a $500 or greater budget in order to play those. And another backup one, I told a few coworkers going to Vegas for vacation about your hand pay method, and they came back saying it helped. That is awesome, and that is the best thing about this channel, guys, is there are hundreds of you out there that have tried these methods and that these tips have helped. The number of jackpots coming in is just phenomenal. So that is awesome and wonderful. Please do keep up that positive energy. We would love to hear about it. And Linda says, is it worthwhile to travel to Arizona? I would say yes, if you're nearby. Go ahead, Mark.
Okay. Whoops, wrong one. Skipped up on me, right? I was about to click it. So D. Wamser says, why would casino change progressive to top 5K win? No one plays anymore, so they have to be losing money. Well, they're probably not losing money, but that is a lesson that they probably are fully aware of. It's they sometimes make that change and then they regret it afterwards, and who knows, maybe they'll switch it back to progressive. One thing I do want to say something about progressives just real quick. People think that the progressives are something that the casino, like, it hurts for them to pay it out. But you have to remember that every time you're making a wager on that machine, it is feeding a portion of that to the progressive amount. Think of it like a savings account. So it's being fully funded by you, the player. Like the casino is only responsible for whatever the base amount is where it first starts out. And it makes up for that by the payback percentage of that machine being lower. So because the machine has a progressive doesn't mean the casino is like having to like spend all of that money. Now there are exceptions like the mega bucks and all those really crazy high wide area progressives. But for those standalone progressives, it's a savings account. Like it's been building up over time. They're not on the hook for it. Like the machine is keeping track of the money that's been put into that savings account. And then when someone hits it, it pays it out and it starts over. So, if they probably are fully aware that that machine is not getting a lot of play anymore, and they might convert it back. Who knows?
That's an excellent description. And again, guys, just as a reminder for those of you new on here, new to the channel, we have covered a lot of questions in previous videos. We do have videos entirely in the library about Class 2 slots, cruise ships, time of day, odds, players cards, all of that. We have so many of those videos in the library. So if you are new to the channel, be sure to check those out because there are so many of them out there and there's a lot more to come. So make sure that you subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. Let's see. We'll grab some more questions here.
I've got one here. What about,
got one? All right.
What about the casino in New Mexico? Well, there are many, but I can actually say I was at one because we had a company function out there a couple of weeks ago, and I was walking around looking at the machines, and all the machines had a sticker on them. It says all machines set at 80% or higher, but that's all it said. So you don't know what that means. They could all be set at 80%.
80% is pretty bad too, guys.
80% is pretty bad.
That's really bad.
So now that doesn't mean they are set at that, but it could mean it. They have that published on the machines for some reason. But I remember being out there 5 or 6 years ago at another company function, and they said 70%. So maybe they've raised it to 80% since then. But I think the conception, I talked to a bunch of people that lived there while I was there at the work thing, and they all say never play at a New Mexico casino if you can avoid it, because they said it's just the payouts are so bad. So when you're at 80%, you will notice a difference between that and 93%, in a Vegas casino or something. So,
absolutely.
I would never travel to New Mexico to go gamble. If that's the only choice you have, so be it. But, just know what you're walking into.
Yeah. And, that's the thing about gambling, guys, too. And I know we have said this on this channel a lot, but every casino from all across every single state, every single tribe is so widely different. You can have a casino in New Mexico can be, insanely low and just absolutely horrendous and awful. That does not mean that every single Indian casino is like that, because you can go to the Indian casinos in Arizona, you can come to the Indian casinos here in Wyoming, and the odds are astronomically through the roof and they're much better. You go to Nevada, it's completely different than Oklahoma, than New Jersey. So every single casino is so widely different. There is not a federal standard for casinos to follow. It really falls on the shoulders of the state and the tribes. So in particular, basically don't judge all casinos based off of the actions of one, because they're insanely different. So if you are used to going to New Mexico casinos and you find it completely terrible, don't assume that all tribal casinos are bad, right? Because again, there are tribes out there that are drastically different. And Mary says, are you familiar with Washington State tribal casinos, Triple Fortune Dragon? This is another one. Washington State is vastly different as well, because they use their own kind of wacky, crazy system for doing things out there. Right. I am not familiar with Washington State's casinos and regulations, but I do know that they are drastically different. So again, that kind of feeds into what we were saying there. Kemmer 001, do casinos lower their percentage when it's off season? No, they do not. The casinos almost never even change the payback percentage or anything like that. It is extremely rare. There has to usually be a mechanical problem or a law change or something. It is a long, lengthy process, and not just talking about lengthy as in the time to actually do it, but lengthy as in the time to get the regulations approved, because every single change to those percentages, it has to go through a regulatory agency to get approved first. It can take days, weeks, months. It is not something that is done quick. They cannot just flip a switch and do that. So do they change it for off seasons? No, they do not.
And Riley's been asking this question. I want to make sure you see it. This is for you. This is your method that you talk about. So go ahead and take this one.
Let's see. $1, $5 machines at single credit bet. Are we talking single line or multi-line machines set to one line? I would try, in that case, if you are going to do single credit bet, I would stick with one line. Because if you are playing a multi-line machines, you want to make sure you're covering all of those lines. So if, say, for example, so if you have a $500 budget, you could do a $5 machine with one line, or you could do a $1 machine with 5 lines, just as long as your bet's not exceeding that 1% rule. Now, as you win more, you can start upping it a little bit more, and maybe find a $5 machine that's 5 lines and start playing $25, but then you have to make sure that you have the bankroll to back up that $25 bet. So to answer your question, if you only have $500 to spend, I would do a $1 machine at 5 lines, or a $5 machine at 1 line. So I hope that answers your question.
So UC Online says, is there a site that tracks the percentage odds by city or casinos? Yes, it depends on the state, and if it's a publicly run casino oversight, I'm trying to think of the word, commission or whatever.
Commission.
Yeah, commission was the word I was looking for. So, but there is one thing. There's a big distinguishing factor between return to player statistics and payback percentage settings. Return to player is what you can look up on a state's website. For example, in Nevada, you can go to the state commission and look up by casino, even all the way down to the denomination, what the return to player stats were for a given time range. But this does not mean that that is what the machines are currently set at. So you may see swings. You may see times where the return to player starts to dive down, and then suddenly you see a big jump, and you're like, oh, that has to be because they changed the odds of the machine to start paying. No, that's not the case. It's just that that's the cycle that will happen over millions of spins on that machine. You will see up and down, but most of the time it will stay pretty consistent and close to the setting on the machine. But that's something that you don't know. What you do know is the return to player, what is actually being paid back to the players. So it's important to know that difference there.
Exactly. So guys, we are at our 1 hour mark. Just to kind of, we're going to do some closing comments here. As a reminder, tomorrow is our Monday, Member Mondays. It is a private live stream just for members of the channel. You can always check that out. If you're not yet a member and would like to join, there's a link in this video description. Also, if you are new to the channel, be sure to check out that video library for tons and tons of videos. A lot of the common questions that people always ask, we've covered in other videos. So be sure to check that out, because there's tons of videos on there. If you are interested in purchasing poker chips like these, we have lots of poker chip options. Those are available at the website at ropethejackpot.com. Sales for these poker chips do help to go towards the channel, and we do greatly appreciate that. So be sure to check that out. You can also look up event details on that website as well. Check out where we're going to be, what we're doing, all of that fun stuff. And also you can check on to see exactly what class your particular casino is with our casino guide. Anyway, Mark, do you want to take one more question and then we'll close it out?
Yeah, I was just looking through. I don't really see. Here's one real quick. So Neo 1442 says, never been to a tribal casino. Do they still have the 1,200 slot pay limitation? Yeah, that is a national law. They're not excused by that.
Yeah,
you cannot get
IRS.
around. Yeah, you cannot get around the IRS by going to a tribal casino. I'll just say that.
Exactly.
Otherwise, everybody would be going to tribal casinos probably.
Exactly. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for this Sunday live stream. We really do appreciate it. Make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to stay notified if we missed your question. We do this live stream every single Sunday, as well as Wednesday nights and Member Mondays, which is tomorrow evening. So guys, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We hope that we were able to get through most of your questions today, and we will see you again on the next live show.
Bye, guys.